Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen. I just decided to go ahead and show you what I'm cooking for dinner. It's just a really simple meal. And I wasn't planning to make a video about my Friday night dinner that I'm making today that I'm just throwing together, but I thought you might enjoy watching it. I've got a couple cool garden things. This is an onion pesto that I made back in June that I just threw in the freezer, and I'll show you guys how to make this spring. Another cool thing we're going to use today is some homemade pasta. The way I was preserving some of my extra eggs was to make pasta, and I just dried it. And I'm going to use this. I've got some bacon cooking here, and these are just some bacon bits. One frugal tip for you is just to buy the bacon ends, and what I'm going to do is I think it was a 2-pound or 3-pound package, and I'm going to cook the whole thing up, and I'm only going to use a little bit of this for the dinner tonight, and then the rest of it I'm going to chuck in the freezer for another meal. And the last two things I'm going to add is I'm going to put some frozen kale from the garden and just some peas that I had in the freezer. If you haven't heard the story about the freezer incident, we were doing some work on our shop, and we had turned the power off to the shop, and our freezer with all of our garden produce was in there, and we went out of town and we forgot to turn it back on. So all of our spring peas were in there, so we don't have any spring peas from the garden, but I have some store-bought ones which will be just as good. You might hear my dogs running around. I have 3 dogs. I'm gonna go ahead and just take out a bunch of this extra bacon. I don't need even a fraction of this. So I'm gonna leave that much in there. That's probably the equivalent of like 8 slices of bacon. And I am gonna save all this bacon grease just to cook other things with at another time. All right, so I've got the bacon in here, and there is a little bit of bacon grease left, and I'm just gonna use that to kind of cook up the kale. I'm just gonna kind of break it up and toss it in. My water is boiling for my noodles. I'm gonna go ahead and put my noodles in the water. I'm not sure how long this pasta should cook because it's homemade. This is actually the first time I'm cooking it from this completely dried state, so I'm guessing it's gonna take probably 4 to 5 minutes. Little salt and pepper. You can hear some noises in the background. My husband is lighting our wood stove for the first time, which is pretty exciting. And so that might be what you're hearing, the doors of the wood stove open and close. So I'm gonna go ahead and taste the kale and check for seasoning. It's seasoned beautifully. It doesn't need any more salt. I'm gonna turn the stove off. And we're just waiting for the noodles to cook. I don't really need the pesto to cook in the pasta. I just need it to be warmed through. So once these are done, I'm just gonna throw them in here. And same with the peas. I don't really want the peas to cook. I just want them to be warm. So we'll throw it all in at the end. I just tasted one of the noodles. It's done. I don't want it to cook anymore. So I turn that off. So what I'm going to do now is just throw the peas in. Get those warming. I might turn the heat on just a little bit here. Then I'm just going to go ahead and get all these noodles in my pan. All right, all the pasta's in there. Let's go ahead and put the pesto in. My stove is on really low, and I think I'm just gonna go ahead and turn it off now. There's enough heat, I think, in the pasta to warm the pesto. Well, friends, here it is. I hope you enjoyed that last minute throw together video. I didn't want to miss capturing it for you. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. go ahead and let me know what you guys like to cook on a Friday night. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. And until next time, cheers.